Is there an ideal time of the year to retire, or does it really not matter? Can you choose any old month? In this video, we're going to look at how the timing of when you retire could literally save you thousands of pounds. We'll cover financial reasons which may influence exactly what month you retire, and although most people do focus on the financial aspects of when to retire, we'll also consider some of the more emotional factors at play. Financial tax year, this begins on the 6th of April and ends on the 5th of April in the following year. If you're planning to retire and maximise the tax efficiency of your retirement, this can be a very, very important consideration. This is because most of us have what's called our personal allowance available each year. This is where the first £12,570 of our taxable income is taxed at 0%. So why does the timing of when you retire matter then? Let's use Duncan as an example, who we've used in past videos. He is retiring at 65 and is thinking of retiring in November. His salary at the time of retiring was £60,000. As he's 6 months into the tax year, April through to November, this means his taxable earnings are roughly £30,000, half his salary. Between now and the end of the tax year, he thinks he needs an additional £30,000 from his pension. He's got no tax-free cash left as he spent it on a new caravan. He's going to use his 500k pension to meet this shortfall. So what's his total tax going to be for the year if his earnings are going to be 60k? £30,000 from his salary for the 6 months he worked, and then the £30,000 pension withdrawal from his crystallised pension, which is classed as taxable income. This withdrawal is going to push him into high rate tax, and the total income tax liability for the combined income is going to be approximately £11,400, and you can see how we've arrived at that calculation on the screen now. How about if he was able to delay taking the £30,000 withdrawal from his pension until May, which is the new tax year? As he retires a good 6 months ago, he's got no other income that he needs to worry about. So if that was the case, then he would have his full personal allowance remaining, and what's more, all of the income above the personal allowance will be taxed at 20%, which is important, as in the previous example, close to around 10 grand was taxed at 40%. So what's the total tax payable going to be for him if he delays it? So we take the personal allowance away from the £30,000 withdrawal, which means £17,430 is taxed at basic rate tax of 20%, giving a total tax liability of £3,486. This means that if Duncan could stomach and afford to delay taking the 30k from his pension until the new tax year, he'd have saved nearly 8 grand, which, rather than going to His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, he could have put towards a cruise around the Caribbean perhaps, or taking that caravan around Europe. In a similar vein to the tax years, that it's very popular for those approaching retirement to back end and contribute more to their pensions as they approach that retirement date. The tax year is important as the most that you can pay into your pension is called the annual allowance. For most people, the annual allowance is going to be the lower of £60,000 or your relevant earnings. Most common form of relevant earnings is going to be your salary, wages, bonuses and things like that. But it also includes other things, so please watch this video for more information on that if you haven't already. Why is the timing of when you retire important in terms of contributions? Let's use Mary to highlight this example. So Mary, she's planning on retiring in May, and her salary is 50k. She's got 100 grand in savings and is looking to invest some of this into a pension to benefit from the tax relief. She's heard this is a good thing. So this means her annual allowance is 50k. However, as the new tax year begins on the 6th of April, if we assume she only works 1 month before retiring, then her actual earnings will only be around £4,000, meaning this is the maximum gross contribution that she could make. Had Mary worked for the full year, earning 50k, and retiring in the following March, she could have made that 50k pension contribution. She'd only need to contribute £40,000, and the tax relief of 10k would have been added to the contribution, grossing it up to fixed 50k. Had she retired in May as she originally planned, she'd have missed out on this opportunity to benefit from the 10k tax relief. For many of you contemplating retirement, if you're eligible for the full state pension at around £11,500 per year, this is likely to be your biggest, or certainly one of your largest sources of income in retirement. It's easy to poo-poo the state pension, but to buy an equivalent index-linked pension privately via an annuity, you'd need a pension fund close to around 210k. If the state pension is going to be a cornerstone of your retirement plan, then it's a good idea to be aware of the timing of when you're eligible for the state pension and when it kicks in. So the state pension, it's currently payable from your 66th birthday. However, this is set to rise to 67 by 2028 at the latest. It's important to be aware that it doesn't just magically appear in your bank account. You get an invitation letter, usually a few months before your state pension age, from the pension service, and then you can claim for it. Another reason which may affect the timing of your retirement is if you are lucky enough to have a defined benefit or final salary pension, be it from the public sector or private sector. So why does it matter if you've got a DB pension? Although you can take your DB pension from 55, final salary pensions have a normal pension age, which for many public sector career schemes is now state pension age, so 66. And for many private sector DB schemes, 65 is also very common. So why does the timing of when you retire actually matter? Well, this is important as the vast majority of DB pensions have what's known as early retirement penalties. If you remember, you can take the DB pension from 55, but if you take it before the particular pension scheme's normal pension age, you can incur what's called early retirement penalties. They're going to vary from scheme to scheme, but it's common to see the early retirement factor or penalty be around 3% for each year that it's taken early. So let's say Karen takes a DB pension at 55, but the normal pension age is 65, and the early retirement penalty is 3% a year it's taken early. This means she could see her pension be reduced by as much as 30%. For some of you, this could be an influence for when you actually retire, or if you have other pots of money such as private pensions or defined contribution pensions that you could take and leave your DB pension frozen or deferred, to give it its official name for a few years, so that you don't incur these early penalties by taking it early. Another consideration that may have a bearing on when you actually retire is how the stock market and other financial markets are performing when you're about to pull the trigger, particularly if you are considering drawdown. So with drawdown, the remaining pension, as we know, that is not taken as income is usually invested, and so there's an onus on you to manage the invested portfolio and navigate any potential volatility up and down, bear markets. And as a result of this, investment returns are poor, or you retire before a stock market crash, this can have the potential to cause catastrophic effects on the sustainability of your pension fund. This is often referred to as geek speak for the sequence of returns risk. In layman's terms, it's the idea that when you retire is very important, as if you retire just before a stock market crash or a period of negative returns, this can have an adverse effect on the sustainability of your retirement pot compared to someone who perhaps enjoyed stellar investment returns after retiring, and this growth helped to offset the withdrawals of the portfolio. Let's take a portfolio made up of 50% US stocks and 50% 10-year US treasuries or bonds. If we look at some of the past bear markets and drawdowns, we can see how long it takes for this type of portfolio to recover in the past, with the average around a year to a year and a half or so. To avoid taking an income from the falling portfolio and hopefully waiting for it to recover, if you can do so, if you've got other assets or cash dotted around, you can use these funds to meet your income needs while hopefully your invested portfolio recovers in value. If this isn't an option, one thing you can do is delay retirement. The benefit's going to be twofold. You give your portfolio a chance to recover, and you'll be taking less income, and hopefully your pension may even increase with further contributions and growth. So we've looked at the numbers and the hard financial reasons around when's a good time to retire in the year. But now it's time to look at the emotional reasons which may influence your decision. So the UK, as we all know, is very seasonal weather, to put it mildly. So for some of you, you may be planning to retire in time for summer, where you can then enjoy your retirement and get outside. It may make sense for you to spend the winter working before you retire, as you may think it's better to get paid indoors during those dark, gloomy months on someone else's dime. retirement can also be a big jolt to the system, and it takes some time to adjust to. Retiring in time for the spring or summer can ease the transition, as it will give you more structure and allow you to do the things that you want to do, be it working on the golf handicap, hiking, holidays, or just time in the garden. For some of you, family considerations is also going to be an important factor in when you eventually retire. You've got grandchildren. Retiring in synchronization with the school calendar can be beneficial for retirees who want to stay engaged and help out. Maybe grandchildren and assisting with school drop-offs, pick-ups, and after-school activities, etc. It can also kill two birds, alleviate some of the pressure on working parents and your children, and also allow you to stay actively involved and help the transition into retirement. We often speak with clients who've just simply had enough, and even though it may be financially beneficial to retire at a different time in the tax year or later on, so the likes of the personal allowance are available, you can make contributions, but maybe that they're just completely burnt out and at the end of the tether. Prolonged stress from work can lead to exhaustion, health issues and whatnot, so stepping away from this toxic work environment perhaps gives you that time to recover and bring some joy and fulfillment to your life in retirement. If you want to give your retirement the greatest chance of success, then watch this video on pension drawdown if you're considering that option, which looks at some of the biggest mistakes that we see.